So what to make of Gillette's latest ad campaign? Is it simply a case of any publicity is good publicity? Did the marketing department do a cold calculation and decide, sure, we'll lose some customers, but we'll gain more from the scandal? This is Proctor and Gamble, after all, a very successful company. I'm sure they didn't do this on a whim, and I'm also sure if they thought drowning puppies would sell more Tide, they'd be doing that too. This tweet from Clay Rutledge was a good summary. We are living in an era of woke capitalism in which companies pretend to care about social justice to sell products to people who pretend to hate capitalism. Well, it certainly feels that way. Now, the director of the ad was one Kim Gehrig, an Australian who won acclaim for her This Girl Can campaign in 2015. Basically, it was an ad telling fat chicks that it's okay for them to play sport, because apparently they didn't know that. But here's what Kim Gehrig didn't do in that ad. She didn't start off the ad with anecdotes about the poor dietary habits of women. No, it's 100% body positivity. And there are certain scenes in this Gillette ad where it's obvious that it was directed by someone that doesn't understand the behaviour of boys. Now, I would go through the ad, but it's been copyrighted, so at this point it would be a good idea, if you haven't seen it, to stop this video and watch the 1 minute 40-second worth of cringe. Link in the top right corner of your screen. Okay, so assuming you've watched it, you would have seen it started with various men being introspective about the very positive messages of toxic masculinity, sexual harassment, bullying, and mansplaining. And it's worth noting the complexion of the males that are perpetuating these toxic behaviours. Yes, of course, it's the good old straight white male, the last bastion of publicly acceptable bigotry. And later we'll see the complexion of those that are modelling the good behaviour. Now, some have said that this ad paints all men as toxic, as sexual predators, and boys are bullies and harassers in waiting. Now, I'm not sure I agree with that entirely, but you can't escape the implication from this ad that there is something inherently wrong with being male that needs correcting. And how do we do that? How do we be good men? Well, by standing up and calling out bad behaviour. And of course, it is good to call out bad behaviour, but that's a very narrow view of what is, as the title of the ad says, the best men can be. It's also condescending to the vast majority of men who don't need to be told how to behave. There are no images of men performing courageous work, the kind of work that is almost exclusively male, or just everyday men. You know, the ones that build your house, fix your pipes, or repair your air conditioner. Nothing about any of the innovations and scientific breakthroughs that improve people's lives that, again, are mainly the domain of men. No, we see none of that. As marketing professor Mark Ritson wrote of the director, rather than a work of inspiration and aspiration, she delivers a short film that feels vindictive and accusatory. We are not being shown the better path. We are being told we are all on the wrong one and must change course immediately. Men are to blame. You, yes you. It's a poor way to sell razors. Hell, it's a poor way to sell anything. Gillette's ad feels like a tedious, politically correct public health video, the kind of film we were forced to watch in school about road safety before they invented the internet. Never mind making me hate Gillette, it makes me feel bad about pretty much everything. And of course, it's always worth asking, what would be the reaction to an ad that listed off a string of negative female behaviours and asked women to collectively be responsible for correcting those? Like false rape and sexual assault accusations, the weaponisation of victimhood narratives, the epidemic of female teachers banging their underage students, the utter hypocrisy of advocating for equality while at the same time lobbying for special privileges. Now let me sell you a tampon. And can you believe they chose Anna
I'm fucking better than you.
Kasparian and Terry the Cuck Crews? Remember, Terry Crews gave this cringeworthy performance on the Me Too movement.
If you are making anybody uncomfortable, don't do that. It's not that hard. Just if you're making anyone uncomfortable in any way, man, woman, child, stop. You're already over the line.
Yes, Terry, the whole world should be a gigantic safe space where no one ever feels uncomfortable. Retrieve your balls from your wife's handbag, bitch. And as I said earlier, this is how you know the director doesn't understand how boys interact. Rough and tumble play is normal and natural, and yes, sometimes it gets out of hand, and an adult, usually a male, will step in at that point. That's how it's always been. Oh yes, did you notice who was modelling the good behaviour most of the time? A cadre of dark knights. Obviously an accurate representation of society today. But what I find most interesting and amusing about this ad is the largely gynocentric focus here. Remember, this is an ad that is supposed to be about the best men can be. And apparently the best men can be is to be nicer to women. It's the same type of female narcissistic personality disorder that saw The Red Pill, a film about men's issues, as a danger to female safety. Because remember, women are strong and independent and don't need no man except when a man asks them to smile. Then they need men to mansplain to other men that it's not okay for a woman to ever have to feel uncomfortable. Because equality. Now, many people have registered their dislike for this video, more than 500,000 at this stage, and some have decided to boycott Gillette products altogether, including me. I'm a big fan of the Get Woke Go Broke hashtag, and whilst P&G won't be going broke anytime soon, I do hope this rapidly backfiring campaign accelerates Gillette's already falling market share. As usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you next time.